Hi guys, my name is Trinity, and if you are here, you must be here to talk about books, and one book in particular, since this is a dedicated review for The Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford, or Engines of Empire. I don't know why I keep trying to put "the" at the front of that. So this book does do just as the title says and examines all of the engines of empire. This book follows a family called the Hawkspurs, and they are political bigwigs in this world and part of this guild. And the guild is ran by the mom of the family, the matron, and she is trying to train her daughter to take her place in this world, in this guild, the head of the guild. And her daughter doesn't want to do it. She wants to rebel against her mother. And then we have two brothers who are also showing us the engines of empire by their POVs, because one is a soldier and one is an arcanist. So all of the different types of POVs that you could want in a fantasy novel to really build that world are given to us by this family. And I loved that about this book, because not only are these characters already very well entwined because they're family, you get to feel the tensions of it being family. You get to see these secrets that one of the brothers is holding on to, this deep, dark secret that none of the rest of the family knows about their mom. And all of the POVs bring something different. Something I really don't like in fantasy is when POVs replay what's going on in the world, or we shift from one POV to the other very quickly to get the rest of the story. I don't like that. But this one, it actually delves into each POV very deeply, gets you into the motivations of the characters. And then we also have a religious sect that is trying to rise and take the place of this empire. And I want to read you the first few lines of this on the back here, because I think it explains it really well. The nation of Torwin is run on the power of industry, and industry is run by the guilds. Chief among them are the Hawkspurs, whose responsibility is to keep the gears of the empire turning. That's exactly why matriarch Rosamund Hawkspur sends each of her heirs to the far reaches of the nation. Yes, I really, really loved the way this book was written. And I want to point out that when I picked this up for review, it was an advanced listening copy from Hachette Audio. I've purchased the book since then. I adore it. I adore it. So if you are looking for an epic, character-driven fantasy, this does fit the bill. However, for those of you who are looking for a plot-driven fantasy, it also fits that bill. I think that this is one of those books that really rides the line between plot and character very, very well. Now, I did say in my Goodreads review that this book gets slow in places, and it does. There is drop in action quite often, but I didn't find it boring. So that's the main takeaway from that, is even though it slowed down, I never found this book boring. And also on Goodreads, you'll see that I gave it 4 stars. It's actually a 4.5. I just couldn't bring myself to give 5 stars because I do feel like it's a little slow. And I do think that this reads kind of like a prologue to the world. It's not done poorly, and it's not just a prologue to the world, but we do have a lot of setup in this novel. We do have a lot of it. But I don't think that any of it was done poorly. Like I said, I think it was very, very well done for what it is, being a setup novel. I'm excited to continue with this. And for the last part of my review, I do like to always give recommendations based on if you liked that book. So if you liked Engines of Empire, I would highly, highly recommend Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. Now, the reason I would recommend Ashes of the Sun if you liked Engines of Empire is because we are also dealing with battling the Empire in Ashes of the Sun. So if you like all of the political maneuvering that is happening in Engines of Empire, I think you will like Ashes of the Sun. Also, if you like the world being spread out and delved into like it is in Engines of Empire, I would recommend The Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb. I really like the way Robin Hobb explores the world and the lore in The Live Ship Traders, and what's in Engines of Empire is slightly elevated in Live Ship Traders in that aspect, the world building and the lore. But you still get a lot of that political maneuvering that is in Engines of Empire. And again, both are absolutely fantastically well done. And if you might like Engines of Empire but want to take a little bit of a darker route, I would suggest The Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. Now, Brian Lee Durfee's writing is quite a bit darker than R.S. Ford's, so I would look into trigger warnings before picking up The Forgetting Moon. But again, that political intrigue that just permeates the whole book, it's in The Forgetting Moon and the Five Warrior Angels series. And yes, I think that any of these three would be great to pick up after Engines of Empire. All right, that is it for me today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!